Aren't SJWs just the worst? I mean, they are. They really are. People out there who have no joy, no love in their life, target anything and everything they can as problematic, and use it as a way to justify their moral outrage, all while basically just trying to raise their social profile, be part of the woke brigade, and ultimately just be pains in the ass for everybody else out there. And that's what I took from this particular situation involving THQNordic going on to 8chan for an AMA. I know, God forbid a company goes onto an anonymous forum and does a Q&A. That's just, oof, you know, oof. But that's where we find ourselves. Now they've apologized. They've already apologized. Now they're apologizing again. This is coming from THQNordic AB CEO and co-founder Lars Wingefors is apologizing to employees, fans, and business partners after last week's controversial 8chan AMA, saying this letter is to offset my sincerest apologies and regret the THQNordic's GmbHVN's interaction with the controversial website 8chan last Tuesday. I condemn all unethical content this website stands for, even if no one within the THQNordic group would ever endorse such content. I realize simply appearing there gave an implicit impression that we did. No, it didn't. That's one of the weirdest things where we find ourselves having these discussions. Just because you go to a place doesn't mean you are 100% associated with them or that you are in any way associated with them. We have this guilt by association fallacy in our world where, you know, yes, I understand that there's that old adage of, you know, you are the company you keep, you are what you eat sort of thing. And I think that in some cases that might be true. But if you're just kind of casually passing by, no, not at all. If you're casually passing by, then you're not a part of it. Now, there are going to be arguments that could be made like, oh, if you were casually passing by a Klan rally and they're burning a cross, would you partake in that for the moment of time and say you're not a racist? I don't know. I don't know what's in that person's heart. But what I'm more or less referring to here is a guy going to a video game forum on an anonymous message board and having an AMA about the company. Not the same thing as actively engaging in a cross burning. So I don't think the two necessarily hold as being a proper comparison, but that's all it is. Now, THQNordic announced it was holding an AMA on 8chan on Twitter, adding, and we have no idea why, come join us. The announcement revealed immediate backlash from the gaming community. 8chan is an image board site with a pretty unsavory reputation. It's reportedly been linked to child pornography, online targeted harassment campaigns, swatting, and white supremacy. I would argue that probably the last three are pretty accurate. The first one that's been debunked. When asked on Twitter why it chose 8chan to host this AMA, THQNordic said the opportunity was there and we took it. We got approached in a very friendly and polite manner, and we were assured said person will take care of the nasty stuff. So here we are. And all they were doing was just in a thread, answering questions, and that's it. They weren't going to like the VOR board and posting on there like, hey, everyone come down to VOR/VOR THQNordic AMA. V Monroe's going to be there. Like none of that happened. None of that happened, you know? So again, people are really trying to take whatever they can from this and saying like, oh, it's terrible. Look, most of these guys probably know what 8chan is. They know that it's an anonymous message board. That gets a lot of traction in certain circles. And maybe they wanted to try to reach certain gamers that they wouldn't normally reach through, let's say, a Reddit AMA or doing an interview with a website, because that shit kind of feels played out. This was a different, unique take on trying to get the word out about their products. And ultimately it kind of backfired with the way the response to the industry or from the industry was. But at the same time, could you expect any different? You can't expect any different. If you know, I mean, look at Sargon of Akkad. He goes and speaks anywhere, and there's like 80,000 emails to that place. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. Because that's how people are. They like to deplatform as much as they possibly can. Now, it says here, Wingefors is now taking responsibility for the publisher's actions and communications, saying, I have spent the past several days conducting an internal investigation into this matter. I assure you that every member of the organization has learned from this past week's events. I take this matter very seriously, and we will take appropriate action to make sure we have the right policies and systems in place to avoid similar mistakes in the future, which is such a corporate way of saying, okay, so if anyone ever asks us to do an AMA anywhere again, we're going to thoroughly vet the website. But here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. 8chan is not an all-encompassing entity, correct? Neither is Reddit. AMAs are on Reddit all the time, but you can find very sick, twisted, disgusting subreddits out there. There was a dead babies subreddit. It might still be active. So should anyone now not go and deal with that? Go to Reddit for an AMA because they have a bad community there? No, that's absurd. No one would buy that. Why? Because of traffic. Traffic equals money. That's what it boils down to here. That's all it boils down to, is just the optics. How many times has Reddit communities been embroiled in controversy? How many times have you found out about subreddits that are like really full of terrible stuff? But no one stops going to our AMA and hosting it there. You don't see developers stop going to their subreddit community and having AMAs there. You don't see those sort of things because it's not socially unacceptable to be there. But 8chan, with Dan Olson's faulty reporting on CP, has tarnished it as being that particular thing. But there are a lot of other bad communities that are on 8chan. There are a lot of bad boards that do bad things. And everyone knows to stay away from those boards. But the thing is, boards don't operate together all the time. Boards are oftentimes at war with one another. Chan culture is a very interesting thing when you get into it. It is. It's a very interesting thing when you get into it. But they, of course, they have to sit there. They have to fall on their knee, or they have to bend the sword, or bend the knee, fall on their sword, cuck themselves, if you will, so they don't lose the favor of the game's media because they don't want to be trashed in those publications, thinking that it might negatively impact sales or negatively impact the future of the company. But here's the thing. Most people realize at this point that video game journalists don't actually equate for sales. They don't. The reviews don't equal sales. Streamers, Let's Players, they do more for sales than the reviewers do. But there's still an optics factor that plays in because of the business side of it. Anyway, so Wingforce ended his statement by saying that the Swedish company firmly supports equality and diversity. He said it's also working to actively combat discrimination, harassment, and misconduct. It's also already developing a new work process based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and Global Reporting Initiative standards, and it will accelerate that work going forward. None of that means anything compared to this particular situation. Does it? None of it means a thing about that. Well, you know, we really were all about diversity and inclusion over here at THQNordic. I mean, we want to make sure everyone feels represented. Yeah, but you were just doing an AMA on an image board. That's all it really was. I know, but we want to make sure everyone feels like it's just 100% representation. Nom, 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 nom. Like, that's all it boils. It's just talk. That's all it is. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything for anybody. All it is just talk. But chalk it up for as a victory to the SJWs, because that's all it is at this point. They get this kind of apology, and even though they don't, where it counts in regards to influence, they don't really have much of it anymore, but they're able to hold on to these particular victories. They're able to lord this stuff over THQNordic's head for the rest of the time the company's around. They'll be able to bring it up anytime they want to kind of embarrass them or shame them or you know, keep them in line. And that's what they do. That's what happens. So it's ridiculous. Going on 8chan shouldn't have been the end of the world. It should have just been a standard AMA. Move on with your day. That's it. But it's not the world we live in. That's just not the damn world we live in. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this clip from whatever. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe. You can even submit your own stories to peskyadblock@gmail.com or call the voicemail line. If you want to help support the channel financially, you can always join the channel, become a member today, or go to patreon.com/MundaneMatt. Thank you guys again so much. Have yourself a great day and peace out.